So again, welcome all. We are live on YouTube. It's good to have all of you today. And I'm going to pass the baton to Louise to take us through today's session, which is Back to Basics 2, History and Introduction to Digital Assets. Always a pleasure. These Decrypt Edge consultants, we do crypto education. And also we share our views on what we've learned the last, I think, close to 5 years being in the space, and it's been an amazing journey. I think I can say we've learned a lot, both hard lessons and also good lessons. We are students in this space, so without wasting much further time, let me just make Louis the host so that he can take us through today's session. So Louis, take it away.
All right. Thank you so much, Lawrence, for that brief introduction. At least today is it's a sunny day, so I think yeah, we may be out of the cold weather, but all in all, we are very much grateful. So it's an exciting day today. I think we are basically continuing from where we left last week, because we did some form of introduction to how money has evolved. So today we are going to maybe focus a little bit more about the digital space, where it was started and where it is right now and where it's going. And basically from from what I'll be sharing, maybe I think it will be able for you to see where the opportunity is and how you can soberly take advantage of it. That's basically what we endeavor to do as Decrypt, basically to guide you through this journey of the digitalization shift. So let me just share my screen. It's 10:09. So let me share my screen, then we can get started. It's going to be a very brief session. And of course, Lawrence is coming in the second session, whereby now we're going to look at news that has been making news headlines this week in terms of our ecosystem. So as you see over there, I hope my screen is visible. Okay, let me just admit also new people, and also be remember you can be inviting people to these sessions, because it's a purely learning session. We're not selling anything. We're not promoting anything. We're just offering you like an informed informed basically data, whereby you're able to have a listen and then make your own judgment on how you're going to go about it. So the session is, as you can see, it's basically history and introduction to digital assets. So let me see. I think there's somebody saying something in the message. Okay, okay. Yeah. So yeah, remember to ask any question that you may have on the chat. Any lesson, anything that you may want us to clarify, ask on the chat, and we'll be glad to do that. So as you see over there, it all starts with the online, because online is where by people are now like everyday trading. They are talking, they are sending money. So all these online business started, I think, back in 1994. And of course, I'll be sharing you on the next chart, whereby where did this online start from? Where did this? Because everything used to be physical. Remember last week, Lawrence talked about the way money has been evolving from physical items to paper money to gold and stuff. So it then now shifted to internet, or rather to digital when internet started. And when internet started, the first online sale was, of course, by a company called Pizza Hut, who sold something online. That is 1994. And you can see over there, Pizza Hut, PizzaNet is a Pizza Hut electronic storefront, and is brought to you by Pizza Hut. That is, I think most of you may know about Pizza Hut. So they were the first company actually to sell something online, and of course, it was the form of payment was you are paying using a Visa. That is what was the payment system. So moving forward, the key thing that actually that remained all through that from where we started is about how to move money over the internet, and of course without a third party, because there are very many. That's a whole topic by itself. What are the disadvantages of moving money online, of using third parties? I think that's another lesson. But the key thing is, people always wanted to have to move value online without third parties, and also to move it in a cheaper way. That is the key thing that always stood out from inception. So you can see over there, people actually worked on digital currencies or digital assets, if you want to call it, from way back. You can see from 1998. That's how far back it is, even before, I think, just on the onset of internet. From 1998, 1983, 1994. I don't want to go into details because it's just a very basic session. And you can see further up to 1999. That's where I think most of these discussions were ongoing. And you can see the first pizza, or rather the first online sale happened in 1984. 1984. That is actually just about the number where this cybercash was being launched. That is when it was being launched. That is when the first online sale happened. I'm sure most of you wouldn't know, but at least you're glad you are listening to this. So I hope you are following the session. If you have anything, just drop it on the chat. So this, I think, where now it is all summed up. If you look at the bottom part of the first, that is the Ethernet, that is 1974. These were now internet, network started to happen. And then the TCP/IP, that is 1974. I'm sure most of you know the company called Cisco, who were championing that particular kind of technology. So Ethernet, I think I wouldn't even remember. I think I was out there, same as 1974, I was out there. But if you look at now that HTTP, that is, I think this is now what you're using. If you go to your browser, you on the top part of the browsing where you type in the URL, you will start with HTTPS or HTTP. So that started in 1990, and that is where now Amazon, as a company, started taking advantage of that. Now they were building something on that particular protocol. That's Amazon, of course. The fast forward before that, I think that was now where Pizza Hut sold their first pizza online. That is 1 year later is when now Amazon came to sell books. 1996, that's where now the SSL, that is the secure, I think there's an acronym there, but it's basically it's a secure based network. That is now when now PayPal as a payment system took advantage of that. So that is actually it's a secure system layer. That is actually the meaning. So PayPal started using that for payments. That was 1998, and then of course 2009. That is when our Bitcoin started its journey. So you can see all these layers. They have their own companies or other platforms that are making use of them. 1974 we had Cisco. 1990 Amazon actually took the part of it. 1996 we are having PayPal. So could be now this now layer of blockchain where now Bitcoin is now the new face of money. So back in the days, that is in 2009, these were now Satoshi, the person who came up with this layer, because it's a layer, meaning it's a platform where people interact electronically. It's not very technical, just as simple as you having your phone, you are part of that network, same as the internet. So that is the same thing. So here is what Satoshi was trying to propose. And it was actually an email. You can see Satoshi Nakamoto he was using bitstomail.com. And the subject was Bitcoin peer-to-peer eCash. That is what he called the subject. And the group they are discussing. So this group, this news group, are these people who are discussing. So this news group are these people who are actually there. These 1980, all these people are the people who are discussing how to enable this. So in that group, these were now Satoshi sent that document. And he says, I've been working on a new electronic system, cash system, that's fully peer-to-peer with no trusted party. So that is where now it was started. But of course, they had to look at it because they were discussing on how to enable something to work properly. So that is where now the journey of Bitcoin started. Fast forward, because as you said, this is just an introduction session. We're not doing any detail. So on May 18th, 2010, at about 12:35 a.m. in the morning. Somebody who actually got into that system of Bitcoin, how to operate it, says I'll pay 10,000 Bitcoins for a couple of pizzas, maybe two large ones, so I have some left over for the next day. I like having I like having leftover pizza to nibble on later. You can make the pizza yourself and bring it to my house in order for me to order it for me from a delivery place. But what I'm aiming is getting food delivered in exchange for bitcoins. So you can see that was his main aim, to have food delivered to him. Remember the first 1994 pizza order on Pizza Hut. So he was just doing the same thing, but now he's saying in exchange he will give Bitcoin for that. And if I continue on the statement, where I don't have to order or prepare it myself, kind of like ordering a breakfast platter at a hotel or something, they just bring you something to eat and you're happy. So of course he gave a description on what he had on what he wanted on that pizza. I like onions, peppers, sausages, mushrooms, tomatoes, pepperoni, etc. Just standard stuff. No weird fish topping or anything like that. I also like regular cheese pizzas, which may be cheaper to prepare or otherwise acquire. If you're interested, let me know and we can talk out a deal. Thanks, Laszlo. So that was the person who actually made the first Bitcoin. So from May 18th to May 21st, that's about 3 days later. So nobody wants to buy me pizza. Is the Bitcoin amount I'm offering too low? So you can see 3 days later, after offering to buy pizza, nobody 3 days later acquired it. So what happened? You can see over there on the next day, that is May 22nd. He actually said, I want to report that I have successfully traded 10,000 bitcoins for pizza. So somebody did deliver the pizza to him. And of course, you can see over that's a picture of what the actual pizza. That hand is actually the hand for his son. That is what happened. So what happened here was that Bitcoin now became a medium of exchange. So for 10,000 bitcoins, he ordered he got two pizzas. Value back then was $41. So on May 22nd, they had the 10,000 bitcoins was $41. So meaning it was 20.5 per pizza back then. Today, I don't know how much that is. I think I'd open another chat here. So if you go to Priv, as of today, the 10,000 bitcoins would exchange for $416 million. So that is the kind of figures they're talking about. And when people see this, they're like, oh, how is this possible? But it's possible because these are things that are happening on, if you see now, this is what I wanted to sum up this. If you compare the internet of information, because that's where I started, the TCP/IP, I think they were the HTTP. They were basically a layer. Then you have these particular companies building on top of that. So we have Facebook now, we have Google, we have Netflix. We have very many companies who have built something on top of this layer. So the protocol, that is the internet, still has no ownership. There's no one owns that layer. So if you look at Bitcoin today, Bitcoin as a currency, there's no owner. The network itself is no owner. And of course, there are now applications coming on top of it. So that is now where I think that's where we are. So to sum it up, I think just to, because this was just to give you an overview of where it started and where it is. So this layer that you're talking about now is what we call the blockchain technology. So it is, in simple terms, it verifiably moves data on the network that is decentralized. That is simple as that. And of course, the data can be represented value on a computer code. So it is basically digits on a computer. It's nothing physical. And then thus it goes directly to the plumbing of the financial sector and money. Because when people start trading in value or in currencies, of course, that is where now where the finance sector comes in. And of course, that's where we talk about it as a digital asset, because It is an asset because it has value and it is movable. That is their thing. And then broad adoption rests on addressing technical, commercial, and public policy hurdles, that's where we are now. Most governments are trying to adopt to address to see how they can basically now start to be part of this whole ecosystem. And that's why the last point there, it can be a catalyst for change in the world of finance and money. Why? Because people want, everybody now has a phone, everybody has internet, everybody has an email account, everybody is on some platform. So that platform now is where finance is, and that's where now the money is. If you see on this particular example, so there are layers now coming up on this Bitcoin network, and at the moment, I think the value of this whole network is, I think it's about $1.5 trillion for now, and it is growing, and that's why the more we grow, the more now you as a person can see opportunity in this, and we are glad to guide you through on how that goes about. So I hope that has given you basically an overview on how this all started and where it is going. So let me see if there are any questions that you may have, so that at least I can tackle them as I will invite Lawrence back to share with us the news that has happened over the week. So any question? Remember, this is a recorded session. So if you want to see it later, you can actually go to YouTube or even ask us to share the content. If you have any, if you need any content that I shared there with you, they're also available. So yes, any question as I pass the hosting rights back to Lawrence for him to take us through the news. Otherwise, I'll say thank you very much. That was, I think, for me, it is. I'm learning every day, so I'm always glad to share what I learned. So thank you, and see you next Saturday, or on the online, that is. Thank you.
Awesome, Luis. Thanks for that brief back to basics part 2 on how crypto started and how it has developed. I like the way you have really outlaid it all the way from how internet started to date. And of course, if you're here and you're wondering where we are at, you can imagine at $1.4 trillion worth of blockchain, we are where internet started back there in 90s. So you can imagine the next like 10, 20 years to come, how much blockchain as a whole layer of network will be worth. So without wasting much further ado, let me just go to the news so that we can get to see what has been going on across the globe. So allow me to share my screen. And of course, I start with the first news over there. I hope you can all see. And a lot of people have been talking about Bitcoin correcting from 68,000 to close to, I think, a low of 29,000 in the last 1 month or so. But you can see what has been happening. Whales acquire 170,000 Bitcoin in the past 6 weeks. This is according to sentiment data. Whales, just to share with you, a whale is someone who owns between 100 Bitcoins and 10,000 Bitcoins. So basically, somebody who holds 100 Bitcoins to 10,000 Bitcoins is considered a whale. Is considered a whale. So as people are, I think, as a whole lot of people are talking about market correction, you can see what whales are doing. They are buying. Or because these are investors, they don't trade. They buy, hold because it's an asset, like Luis said. You don't buy an asset today and you sell it tomorrow. You buy and you hold it so that you can acquire value in the long term. So moving on forward, of course, also it's good to note as more people are coming on board, like we said, we are in the early 90s of internet when it comes to blockchain to date. So you can see crypto population doubled to over 200 million users since January. These are report that was done by crypto.com. So it has only taken 4 months. It is taken 4 months for crypto population to almost double from 106 million in February to 203 million in May, according to the crypto.com report. What does that mean? It means there's more awareness. It means that more people are getting interested to get the real value of what cryptos are. So, of course, with more people getting into the crypto space, it means there's more adoption, which means in the long run, you will see some of these cryptocurrencies, of course, going up in value. So let's keep learning. Decrypt is here just to share with you. You can be among the 200 million users out there who understand Bitcoin better and they use it for their daily use. So moving on, also, it's good to know that Mike McGlone, these Bloomberg's, one of the Bloomberg people, and he says Bitcoin, gold, and US Treasury bonds to become top performers in 2H 2021. So, of course, he is overseeing, amidst the correction of Bitcoin, he's overseeing that Bitcoin will be among the top performers in terms of assets and also in terms of investments in Bitcoin, in the space. And of course, he says Bitcoin may resume its bull run, which of course people are expecting it to hit $100,000 by end of 2021. So if that happens, of course, Bitcoin will be the best performing asset that we have ever seen. Moving on swiftly, let's go to now some news from Senator Warren. And she says digital currency may be an answer to help the unbanked. And of course, this is one of the reasons as to why Satoshi Nakamoto came up with Bitcoin, because of course they were looking at, there's so many people who don't have access to banks. And as long as you have a smartphone, you can be your own custodian and keep your wealth. So Senator Elizabeth Warren appeared to have a softened stance on the crypto industry in her recent marks. So I think this is one of the ladies who've been so much, Senator and former United States presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren believes that the digital asset industry may be a tool to tackle some of the challenges in the traditional financial system. And when I see now this kind of news, this positive news, it tells you that we are moving now from early adopters and angel investors, where we go to now institutional investors. Of course, you've seen institutional investors have been putting billions and billions of money. Now, well, we'll go now to where governments are involved. And of course, government will come with regulation so that they can take a piece of the pie through taxes. And of course, this is all they are trying to do. Moving on swiftly to other news, to another senator from Wyoming. She says, Cynthia Loomis says, massive government spending accelerating crypto adoption. This is one of the ladies who, in fact, this week I was watching on Twitter. She had an interview and she said, yes, she owns Bitcoin, and anytime Bitcoin corrects downwards, she adds some more. So she said that inflation and massive government spending is accelerating the adoption of digital assets. Of course, with US government printing over $1.9 trillion just the other day and giving it as a stimulus checks, of course, that will cause inflation. And of course, people are running away from the dollar and now they are digging deeper into digital assets. So of course, a quote on this, but spending American deeper into a hole is it's stupid, inflationary and altogether undesirable way to drive people to digital assets. So people are running away because they fear. They know with more money being printed out of thin air, what will happen to, of course, the value of the dollar. Of course, it will go down. This is what I was watching. You can find it on Twitter if you follow her on Twitter. You can listen to what she said. And of course, she's hoping that, of course, governments will come up with regulations that will not hinder innovation, but will encourage innovators to really accelerate blockchain and also digital currencies performance well. So moving on swiftly to other news. FinCEN digital advisor Michelle Crover believes cryptocurrency is a natural way, a natural evolution in financial technology. So of course, as an advisor, she says crypto is just another means of payment. And I love the way all these people have started now seeing crypto, not as a way of money laundering, not as a scam, not as a bubble, all those negative things. Now they are starting to believe that crypto has a really big chance of revolutionizing the financial sector. So of course, she says, personally, I've worked in the space for long, and I think these emerging technologies are cool and interesting. I love this. This whole week, I think it has been just positive news about Bitcoin. So moving on straight to Germany, and of course, Germany institution funds will be able to invest hundreds of billions of euros in crypto starting next week. This is huge news for people who are in the cryptocurrency space, because of course on the news is there's a new law that could potentially result to up to 415 billion flowing into crypto assets, which will come into effect on 2nd of August. This is from Monday. So of course, there's a law that was enacted in Germany where they are allowing big institutional investors to put a fifth of their investment in crypto assets. So you can see that. So this is huge also because, of course, these are some of the news that drive the market up. So moving on to El Salvador, we know this is one of the countries that, of course, accepted Bitcoin as a legal tender, and it will become official from September 7th. So Bitcoin becomes the official currency through economic, everyday, and crypto adoption. But I love the fact that, of course, the president has made it clear that the use of Bitcoin will be optional. So the government is not drilling it down to people that it's a must to use Bitcoin. No, they have left it open. And I love the way they're approaching all these. Nobody will receive Bitcoin if they don't want it. If someone receives payment in Bitcoin, they can choose to automatically receive it in dollars, said El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele, who also assured citizens that pension and salaries will continue to be paid in US dollars. But of course, he mentioned that, of course, there are some options of you paying your taxes in cryptocurrency. I love that. I think this is one of my this year's hero, President Bukele. He really made a big move in the crypto space. Moving on swiftly, I don't want to take a whole lot of time with the news. Kazakhstan, let's go to Kazakhstan, and Kazakhstan reportedly allows banks to process crypto purchases. I love this, because apparently if you try to do any crypto payments using most banks, especially even here in locally, and they know you're dealing with cryptocurrency, your accounts are closed. So when you see governments now openly telling banks, it's easy, it's good for you people to allow people to trade, because of course Bitcoin is no longer a scam, it's no longer an illegal asset. Allow people to buy and also accept payments that are made from the crypto. This is huge. I love this. I like the fact that also Kazakhstan is one of the biggest countries that has allowed a lot of Bitcoin miners, people who run those machines that do transactions, to go and build their warehouses there. So that is amazing. Let's come to Africa, and of course Ghana. Ghana has been playing a very big role when it comes to crypto adoption in Africa. I love the way, the zeal they have. And of course, Ghana's vice president said African countries should embrace digital currencies. I love this. He's calling out on other African countries to embrace digital currencies. And in part of what he said, I think there's something I saw him. I was reading this and I felt like, of course, he has a very valid point. He says, opined that embracing cryptocurrency would be beneficial for the trade sector on Africa's continent. He believes that digitization is a tool that will help the economies to revive again after the devastating consequences of COVID-19 pandemic. So these are people, this is a person who has seen the light. I can call it seen a light. But then there's something I read here. where he's like singling out that a single central payment platform would change that, especially a stable network for the continent. He's looking at African coming together as one and coming up with one digital currency that we can have for our own continent. I love that. I don't know how these can work, but I think it's something which will make our continent stand strong. For me, I believe that. So let's see how many other African countries will embrace what the Ghanaian vice president posted out there. Let's go to Nigeria. And of course, in some other news, I had shared that there was a report that the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, had already said that by December, they'll have their central bank digital currency. It's just Naira, but in digital format. You cannot touch it, you cannot see it, but if you have 100 Naira, it's 100 Naira, but on a digital platform. So of course, you can read over here, they are going to pilot the CBDC in October as they are looking forward to launch it in December. So I think Nigeria will be the first country to do a piloting. I think Morocco did. If I'm not wrong. Ghana also, I think they were working on a CBDC, and now you can see, of course, Nigeria, they are not being left behind. And of course, below here, I saw some other news where also, I don't know whether it's here, also as Nigeria is looking forward to this, another country that also is looking out is our neighbor, Tanzania, where the lady president over there, she told the central bank over there to not to ignore what is happening, and they should take a look at digital currencies and also blockchain and how they can use it. I'm yet to hear anything from our own beloved country, so I leave it at that. But other countries are not looking behind, they are out there and they are accepting that there's a change happening in the world. And if we don't change with the changing times, of course, we're going to be left behind. And I like what Eric Hoffer says, that learners will inherit the earth, where the learned will find themselves living in a world that no longer exists. So I think it's a high time also other countries, especially Kenya, now that we lead in the ICT and the internet connectivity in Africa, I think we should be leading in terms of blockchain awareness, adoption, and also cryptocurrencies. But anyway, it's totally different at the moment. Moving on again now, this is another country, Colombia, announces first blockchain bond pilot program. So these are countries which are looking at what else can we do in the cryptocurrency space using blockchain. In that layer Louis was talking about, there's so much you can do on blockchain, just like the way internet started with email. Blockchain started with cryptocurrencies, but there are so many other things you can do that. So the Central Bank of Colombia has announced its involvement in the first blockchain bond pilot program in the country, with the participation of Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, and Vieda, a private commercial bank. The proof of concept will use Laka Chain blockchain platform developed by IDB, which will handle the operative part of the issuance. So these are countries that are looking forward not to be left behind as all this is happening. To some other news, of course, Elon Musk hints that Tesla owns about 42,000 Bitcoins. So I usually say don't listen to what they say, but watch what they do. After dissing Bitcoin in terms of environment-related issues, Elon Musk had not said Tesla owns anything. But now, just the other day, he said, of course, Tesla owns over 42,000 Bitcoins, 42,000 Bitcoins. As of June 2020, that is 2021. So these are some of the things I say. Don't listen to what these people say. Just watch out on what they do in silence. So he promotes Dogecoin, but on the other side, his companies own Bitcoin. It's just funny. So moving on swiftly. Moving on swiftly, let's go to California, where a unique backed home loan refinancing deal in California. So you can see, of course, Glen Oaks Escrow has made its first BTC-backed refinancing of a property in San Diego. So adoption is happening. People are accepting that there's so many ways you can use cryptocurrencies. And of course, we will see a lot of growth in the next decade. So seeing a lender use cryptocurrency for refinance shows us that this payment method is continuing to grow in how it's used and who it's used by. So don't be left behind. If you're there and you're still thinking Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are not going anywhere, these are some of the news that you need to watch out for. Let's go to New York. NYDIG is unleashing Bitcoin. Sorry about that. Is unleashing Bitcoin financial products onto thousands of regional banks. So just to read a little bit on the same. Okay. So New York Digital Investment Group, or NYDIG, won't stop until it's able to put Bitcoin within reach of every American. So you can see this is an investment group that is working with, of course, a head of bank solutions to see that every other person understands, number one, Bitcoin, and they will do it through regional banks. So you can imagine all the regional banks in there in New York, of course, giving access to people giving people access to Bitcoin. So I think there's a lot in this space that we are working on to be able to power a range of these types of kind of interesting and innovative loyalty and reward programs. And also even in like bringing gamification, which we could talk about, like how corporates are thinking about using Bitcoin in that regard. So these are some of the things that you see institutional investors trying to come on board and do stuff with the layer Louis talked about. Let's go to PayPal. And of course, PayPal set to launch crypto trading in the UK, may embrace DeFi, decentralized finance. So it's good to know that the global payments platform want to let British customers to trade crypto on its new super app. So they're coming with an app that can allow you to do trading. So yeah, we continue to be really pleased with the momentum we are seeing on crypto. We are going to launch, hopefully, maybe even next month in the UK, open up trade there. So that's PayPal for you. That's a company we all know. And again, on PayPal, this is what I was talking about. PayPal's crypto super app set to roll out soon. And you see they are talking about in the next few months. So of course, this will help you to do all your trading in PayPal account. Let's go to MasterCard. This is another company we all know. And it's good to note that, just one second. So MasterCard launches cryptocurrency startup accelerator. So these are companies that know if we don't adopt, if we don't grow with what is happening in the world, we will be obsolete. So instead of them just watching what is happening, they're looking at how can we be part of what is happening in the world. And of course, MasterCard launched an accelerator program for crypto startups. This is major news for any person who is in there, want to develop something. Of course, they can be funded. We believe that we can play a really key role in digital assets, helping shape the industry and provide consumer protection and security. Part of our role is to forge the future of cryptocurrency, and we are doing that by bridging mainstream financial principles with digital assets innovation. It's great for crypto space. Those are some of the things that have really made this week. Now, to my second last news, State Street to start offering crypto service to their private fund clients following Bitcoin adoption on Wall Street. So of course, Wall Street at last is adopted Bitcoin. And State Street, just to tell you, State Street Corporation, one of the largest bank holding companies in the US, is ready to offer crypto service to their private clients, according to Bloomberg. Adoption is happening. Don't be left behind. This is not a financial advice. Let's keep learning. And to my last news about Ripple, Ripple announces a new ODL corridor in Japan. Ripple, just to share with you, is another cryptocurrency, one of the many cryptocurrencies that are out there. And I remember Ripple came to act like SWIFT to enable remittances, especially between countries. And you can see, of course, they've come up with an ODL product that makes it possible instantly to convert XRP to the Philippine peso. So, of course, Japan and Philippines, they will be trading easily using Ripple. So that's all I had for the news today. Let me just go and check whether you have anything on the charts. Any question and or clarification? If there's no question, I think that's all we had for today. I can see Luis has dropped our Telegram handle. If you've not joined our Telegram group also, feel free to join there for daily news update and also how markets are performing, S&P, cryptocurrency, and all these other markets. We do a very nice analysis over there that can help you understand where the world is heading. So with that, I just want to wish you a great weekend. Blessings in all you do. Let's meet again next weekend for another session of Bitcoin 101. It's always a pleasure to have all of you. In case you've missed any of our session, feel free to also go to our YouTube channel and watch the previous sessions. In case you have any topic you want us also to share or talk about, feel free to contact us, and we will do the research and then we'll come back. So God bless you all. God bless your families. God bless your businesses and anything you intend to do. Have a great weekend ahead. Louis, any parting shot? Okay, cool. So